Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal in a relationship? That gut-wrenching moment when someone you trusted lets you down in a way you never imagined possible? Whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a family member, betrayals like disloyalty, lies, and broken promises can shake the very foundation of your trust and leave lasting scars. But what if you could identify these toxic behaviors early on, before they ruin your relationships and your peace of mind? In this video, we're diving deep into the 7 most destructive betrayals in relationships, things you should never forgive. From subtle neglect to the betrayal of your dignity in public, we'll explore why these behaviors go beyond just mistakes and what they reveal about a person's true character. Understanding these signs will help you protect your emotional health and teach you how to set boundaries that preserve your peace. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to spot these betrayals early, how to respond to them, and why it's crucial to never tolerate them in any relationship. You deserve loyalty, honesty, and respect. Let's ensure you never settle for less. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Disloyalty. Disloyalty is an experience that shakes you to your very foundation, and it often feels like the world around you comes crumbling down. When you are at your most vulnerable, hoping for the support and care of someone who is supposed to be your pillar, and instead, you are met with abandonment, it's nothing short of a devastating betrayal. The sting of disloyalty is one of the most painful emotions to experience because it digs deep into your heart, leaving a mark that is often hard to erase. It's not just the act itself that wounds you. It's the realization that the bond you once believed was steadfast and unbreakable was never as solid as you had thought. The truth is, when someone fails to stand by you in your time of need, it forces you to confront the harsh reality that their commitment to the relationship was shallow. It's as if the rug has been pulled out from beneath you, and you are left grappling with the feeling of betrayal and heartbreak. A relationship built on trust and care suddenly becomes hollow, and the person you thought would be there through thick and thin chooses to walk away. They become a mere ghost in your life, a presence that once seemed so important but now feels distant and foreign. Disloyalty doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures of abandonment. Often, it shows up in quieter, more insidious ways, like neglect. When you are emotionally or physically drained, struggling to hold things together, a disloyal person may fail to offer the comfort you need, choosing instead to focus on their own needs or, worse, ignore you completely. Their silence speaks volumes louder than words, and it is this neglect that cuts through your spirit. They might not even realize that their failure to check in, to ask how you're doing, or to offer help is an act of betrayal. But to you, it feels like the deepest form of rejection. Then there is the abandonment itself, the crushing weight of someone who leaves when you need them most. You might not have asked for much, just some love, support, or even just their presence, but instead, you are left to face your challenges alone. They choose to walk away, to go about their life as if nothing significant is happening, as if your struggles mean nothing to them. It can feel as if they are saying that your pain is not their concern, and that is an incredibly isolating and heartbreaking realization. The emptiness that fills the void left by their departure is almost unbearable, and you are left questioning not only your relationship with that person but also your worth as a human being. But perhaps the most painful form of disloyalty is when someone chooses to stand on the sidelines. They may not outright abandon you, but they refuse to get involved when their presence is most needed. It's the person who watches you struggle, sees you drowning in difficulty, and yet does nothing. They stay silent, offering no words of encouragement, no help, and no comfort. This kind of betrayal is even more excruciating because it's as if they are silently telling you that your struggles are not worth their attention. To feel alone amid hardship, to know that someone you trusted is capable of ignoring your pain, is an emotional betrayal that leaves you questioning the authenticity of the relationship. Disloyalty forces you to reckon with the reality that not everyone who claims to care for you does. It's a painful awakening to the fact that sometimes the people we hold closest to our hearts are the ones who can hurt us the most. The emotional toll is enormous. Your trust is shattered, and it can take a long time to rebuild that sense of safety and security. You start to second-guess your ability to see others, to trust in the goodness of people, and you may even wonder if you've been foolish to believe in the strength of the bond you shared. It's a cruel lesson, but one that ultimately forces you to reconsider what truly matters. Disloyalty teaches you about your strength, resilience, and the importance of self-worth. While it may take time to heal the wounds left by this betrayal, it also opens your eyes to the value of real loyalty, something earned and not just promised. In the end, it reminds you that, above all else, the most important relationship you have is the one you build with yourself. 2. Lies. Lies are not just mere fabrications. They are insidious manipulations of reality that chip away at the core of any relationship. When someone lies to you, they aren't simply telling a falsehood. They are actively distorting the truth and depriving you of the ability to make decisions based on the facts. The emotional toll of this deceit is not immediately apparent, and at first, it might seem like a minor thing. A little white lie, perhaps? Something trivial that doesn't seem to matter in the grand scheme of things. But the truth is, these seemingly small lies have a profound impact on the trust and respect that you've worked so hard to build in the relationship. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on solid ground, confident in your understanding of the world and the people in it. Every lie, no matter how insignificant it may appear at first, is like a crack in that foundation. One crack doesn't seem like much, but over time, as more lies pile up, that foundation begins to erode. Each lie chips away at your trust in the other person, until you start to wonder whether any of the things they've told you can be believed. It's a slow, painful process, and it can take a devastating emotional toll on your heart and mind. Trust is the cornerstone of any relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, or even a family bond. Without trust, the connection between two people becomes fragile, unstable, and easily shattered. It's incredibly painful to realize that someone you've opened yourself up to, someone you've shared your thoughts and feelings with, has been feeding you lies. It feels like a betrayal that cuts deep into your very being. When lies become a recurring pattern, they show not only a complete disregard for the truth, but also a lack of respect for you as an individual. The person who lies to you isn't just misleading you. They are telling you that your feelings, your emotions, your trust don't matter. They are telling you that they think they can manipulate you, control the narrative, and get away with it without facing any consequences. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The repeated lies become a toxic presence in the relationship. Each lie adds more weight to the already fragile trust that remains, and soon, it becomes difficult to distinguish between what is real and what is fabricated. This constant confusion wears you down emotionally. You begin questioning not just the person who's lying to you, but your ability to discern the truth. You start doubting yourself, wondering if maybe you're overreacting, or if maybe you've misunderstood the situation. This is what lies do. They create a cloud of uncertainty that leaves you second-guessing everything. I've personally experienced the sting of betrayal caused by lies, and I can tell you that it feels like your heart is slowly being pulled apart. It feels like being trapped in a web of deceit, unable to find a way out. And yet, you keep hoping that maybe, just maybe, things will change. But when the lies continue, it becomes clear that this hope is an illusion. The emotional scars left by lies can linger for a long time, and the hurt they cause isn't easily forgotten. In my view, someone who lies repeatedly is showing a deep disrespect not only for the truth but for the very person they are lying to. Every lie they tell is a message that you are not worthy of honesty, of respect, or real emotional connection. And that is a painful truth to accept. The damage caused by lies isn't just about the specific incidents. They leave behind a residue of doubt, mistrust, and emotional pain that can take years to heal, if ever. It's a violation of the sacred trust that holds relationships together, and once that trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to restore. Lies are like poison. They infect everything they touch, leaving behind a trail of emotional destruction. The longer they are allowed to persist, the more toxic the environment becomes. In relationships, honesty should be the foundation upon which everything else is built. When lies take root, that foundation crumbles, and what is left is a shell of a relationship, empty and hollow, built on nothing but deception. For me, a relationship based on lies is no relationship at all. It's a shadow of what it should be, and no amount of apologies or explanations can truly erase the hurt that lies cause. The power of lies is not just in the words themselves, but in the emotional damage they leave behind. It's something that eats away at you from the inside, and it leaves a scar that's hard to heal. 3. Public humiliation. Public humiliation is one of the most deeply painful, soul-crushing experiences a person can endure. It's not just a fleeting moment of discomfort. It's an emotional wound that can last long after the event is over. When someone criticizes, mocks, or belittles you in front of others, it's not a simple misunderstanding or a casual remark. It's an intentional, deliberate attempt to damage your reputation, undermine your self-worth, and strip away your dignity. The public nature of the attack amplifies the hurt, making it feel as though the world is watching, waiting for you to break. What makes public humiliation so devastating is the emotional power it holds. It's not just the sting of the words being said, it's the way those words echo in your mind long after they've been spoken. The person who chooses to humiliate you is wielding their power over you, forcing you to stand there and absorb their judgment, their mockery, and their cruelty. In a way, it becomes less about the criticism itself and more about the control they seem to have over your emotions, your reputation, and your place in the world. It's as though they are asserting their dominance by making you feel small, insignificant, and powerless. For me, the most painful part of public humiliation is the sense of helplessness that comes with it. You don't have the freedom to defend yourself or to fight back in that moment. At least not in the way you want to. When you're humiliated publicly, the whole world sees it, and that leaves you feeling exposed, vulnerable, and deeply ashamed. You're left to deal with the emotional fallout in private, long after the people who witnessed the event have moved on with their lives. The feelings of inadequacy and doubt can linger, like a shadow that follows you wherever you go. It's more than just a hurtful comment. It's a betrayal of trust and an assault on your very identity. The person humiliating you is trying to lower you, to diminish you in front of others, often to make themselves feel better or to establish some sort of false sense of superiority. And in doing so, they're not just tearing down your reputation, they're also damaging your inner sense of self-worth. You start to question whether you matter, whether you deserve respect, and whether you are enough. This self-doubt can start to seep into every aspect of your life, making you more guarded, more self-conscious, and less willing to open up to others. You may even start to withdraw, afraid that you'll be hurt again. It's incredibly painful to realize that someone is willing to make you the object of their ridicule or scorn, using your vulnerability as a tool for their gain. The experience feels like being trapped in a situation where you are powerless to stop the hurt, powerless to undo the damage that has been done. And in many cases, the damage isn't just to your reputation. It's to your sense of safety, your trust in others, and your belief in your worth. You might even begin to internalize the hurtful words, letting them take root in your mind, leading you to believe that you deserve the mockery or that you are somehow less than others. However, the most important thing to remember in these moments is that this humiliation does not define you. The words spoken by others are a reflection of them, not you. No matter how loud or public their criticism may be, it cannot change your intrinsic value. You are not the sum of other people's cruel opinions or their desire to make you feel small. Those who feel the need to belittle others often do so to mask their insecurities, projecting their pain onto someone else. The power they seem to have over you is only temporary, and with time, it fades away as you reclaim your strength, your dignity, and your peace of mind. Although the emotional scars from public humiliation may take time to heal, it's important to stand firm in your worth. You are not broken by their words. You are not less than anyone else simply because of their cruelty. You are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, and no amount of ridicule should ever make you doubt that. Surviving and rising above such an experience can only strengthen you, reminding you of your inner resilience and the beauty of your soul, which can never be diminished by anyone's attempt to tear you down. 4. Conditional love. Conditional love is not just a shallow concept. It is one of the most painful, destructive forces that can leave deep emotional scars. When love is given only when certain conditions are met, it strips away the purity of connection, transforming it into something transactional, something that demands compliance rather than nurturing the soul. Imagine the kind of love where you are told, explicitly or implicitly, that you will only be worthy of affection, care, or respect when you act in a certain way, meet a certain standard, or fulfill particular expectations. It's like being stuck in an endless game where the rules change on a whim, and the goal is always to please someone else, never to be loved for your true, authentic self. What's even more crushing is the fact that conditional love makes you believe that your worth is conditional, that you are only lovable when you've earned it, when you've proven yourself worthy. You start to question yourself constantly, not in a healthy, self-reflective way, but in a way that cuts at the very core of who you are. The more you bend yourself to meet the needs of the other person, the more you lose sight of your own identity, and the less you trust your innate worth. It's exhausting. It's draining. It's soul-crushing. Every action, every word, every smile, every move you make is weighed against some invisible standard that was set without your input, and you begin to feel like your existence is only valid if you meet someone else's ever-changing criteria. You chase their approval, but it feels like a never-ending race, always one step behind, and never quite reaching the finish line. It creates a constant, gnawing insecurity that eats away at your confidence. You no longer trust yourself because you've been trained to believe that you aren't good enough unless someone else says you are. Every mistake, every flaw, becomes something to be hidden, to be ashamed of, because in the context of conditional love, imperfection is punished, not embraced. And so, instead of feeling free to be yourself, you feel trapped in a cage of expectations, self-imposed, but also shaped by the relentless need for approval from others. This kind of love transforms affection into a currency that you must earn, and it robs you of the feeling that you are enough, simply by existing. You start to become a shell of who you once were, a person who gives, performs, and pleases, but who doesn't feel seen or heard for who they truly are. You suppress parts of yourself, your desires, your quirks, your essence, because you fear rejection or disapproval. Over time, that constant chasing of validation erodes your confidence, and what once was a vibrant, unique individual becomes someone uncertain, insecure, and emotionally drained. What makes conditional love so toxic is its insidious nature. It often starts slowly, disguised as affection or care, a reward for a job well done, a compliment for something you've achieved. But over time, this seemingly innocent reward system becomes a way of life, where love isn't freely given, but is something you must earn over and over again. In a loving relationship, love should be a sanctuary, a place where you are welcomed and accepted for all that you are, imperfections and all. But in a relationship based on conditions, love is something that constantly feels just out of reach, like a dangling carrot that you can never quite grab. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And what is truly heartbreaking is that this constant cycle of seeking approval and validation never fills the void. It's like trying to quench your thirst with sand. No matter how much you try to do, to prove, to please, it will never be enough because the love you are seeking isn't genuine. It is performance-based, and once the performance is over, the love vanishes, leaving you empty and exhausted, wondering why you feel so disconnected and unworthy, despite all your efforts. The emotional toll is staggering. You begin to question everything about yourself, your worth, your abilities, your character. Instead of learning to love and appreciate yourself, you learn to twist and shape yourself into something that you think will be accepted by the other person. This constant battle for worthiness chips away at your self-esteem and creates a deep sense of inadequacy. And when you find yourself caught in this endless cycle, you lose touch with what real, unconditional love feels like. You forget that love doesn't have to be earned. It's a gift that should be freely given, just as you should be loved without conditions or expectations. Ultimately, conditional love is the antithesis of true connection. It's not just a matter of feeling unloved. It's the gnawing sense that you will never be enough, no matter how much you give, how much you change, or how much you try. The scars it leaves behind are not visible, but they are deeply felt, and it often takes years, or even a lifetime, to fully heal. It takes time to recognize that real love doesn't come with conditions. It doesn't demand that you be anything other than your true, authentic self. True love is a refuge, a haven where you can be vulnerable, where you can be seen and accepted as you are, without fear of rejection. Conditional love is a lie, a trap, and ultimately, it denies you the most important gift of all, the freedom to simply be yourself. 5. Broken promises. A promise is more than just a simple exchange of words. It is the foundation of trust, the very essence of reliability. When someone makes a promise, they are extending their hand in good faith, offering their word as a bond, an unspoken contract that says, "I value you enough to follow through." It's a sacred commitment that reflects respect, care, and a deep sense of responsibility. Promises form the backbone of every healthy relationship, whether in friendships, family, or romantic connections. They are the glue that holds us together, and when they are honored, they create a sense of security and warmth. However, when that promise is broken, especially time and time again, it's as if the ground beneath you crumbles away. Each broken promise is a reminder that trust has been betrayed, leaving a void in its wake. The emotional toll is often far greater than the broken words themselves. A broken promise is not just a disappointment. It's a painful realization that the person you trusted has dismissed the commitment they made to you, as if your feelings and expectations no longer matter. It's a gut-wrenching feeling, as though you've been let down in the most intimate and personal way. It forces you to confront the harsh truth. The reliability you once counted on has been shattered. What's even more heartbreaking is the emotional aftermath of a broken promise. It doesn't just stop with one instance. It builds, layer upon layer, each failure to follow through, making it harder and harder to believe in the words spoken. With each broken promise, a seed of doubt is planted, and before long, you find yourself second-guessing not only that person's word but your instincts as well. The uncertainty starts to creep in, and trust, once freely given, becomes something you have to protect with every ounce of your being. It's not just about feeling let down in the moment. It's about the long-lasting effects it has on how you view the world and those around you. Relationships become strained under the weight of broken promises. They leave you constantly questioning, are they telling the truth? Can I count on them? Is this just another empty promise? It becomes exhausting, emotionally draining, and ultimately destructive. What once was a bond built on mutual respect and understanding now feels fragile and precarious. Every time they speak, you are filled with hesitation, unsure if their words will hold any weight. It's as though their promises become nothing more than hollow words, devoid of meaning. This emotional turmoil erodes the connection between you, leaving you feeling isolated, disconnected, and heartbroken. I believe the pain of a broken promise goes far beyond the immediate disappointment. It stirs deep feelings of betrayal. It's not just the broken words that sting, but the deep emotional wound it leaves behind. To feel abandoned by someone who once made you believe in their commitment is one of the most painful experiences in a relationship. The cycle of false hopes, each promise that remains unfulfilled, gnaws at your heart, wearing down your confidence in others. And this is why, in my opinion, broken promises are not just a betrayal of trust, but a betrayal of the very foundation upon which relationships are built. The emotional scars they leave can last long after the promise is forgotten, and the healing process is slow and difficult, requiring more than just time. It requires genuine effort and understanding to rebuild what was broken. 6. Neglect. Neglect, in its most heartbreaking form, often manifests not through loud, dramatic acts of betrayal but through a quiet, gradual withdrawal of attention, care, and love. It is a form of emotional abandonment that creeps in unnoticed, wrapping itself around your heart without warning. At first, you may not even realize it's happening. You may find yourself overlooking the little signs, the missed calls, the unanswered texts, the absence of the familiar words of comfort and affection. But slowly, these subtle shifts become more pronounced, until you're left wondering if something has changed, though no one has ever directly told you so. It's not a sudden betrayal where someone blatantly shows indifference or cruelty. Instead, neglect often takes on the guise of calm disinterest. It's the moments when a once loving partner or close friend stops asking about your day, stops caring about your thoughts, and begins to show little regard for your emotional needs. What makes it so deeply painful is that it is not the absence of grand gestures but the disappearance of small, meaningful actions, the daily reminders that you matter. This is a type of neglect that cuts to the core of your being, because it doesn't just make you feel unwanted, it makes you feel invisible. As if you no longer hold any importance in the eyes of the person who once promised to stand by your side. As days go by, you begin to notice a growing emptiness in your interactions. Conversations become one-sided, and the warmth that once flowed freely between you feels like it has vanished, replaced by cold, indifferent silence. When someone stops engaging with you, when they no longer make the effort to check in, or when their words and actions reflect a detachment that wasn't there before, it communicates, without the need for any words, that you are no longer a priority. It's as though you've been gently, almost imperceptibly, pushed to the sidelines of their life. This absence of attention, this quiet withdrawal, speaks volumes. And it's a message that strikes at the heart, telling you that you are not as important as you once were. The pain of neglect is not in loud fights or hurtful arguments, but in the chilling silence, the growing distance, and the overwhelming sense that the person who once cared for you is now drifting away, emotionally and physically. What makes neglect so particularly cruel is that it doesn't always have a clear ending point. There's no closure that comes with it, no moment when everything is said and done. It's a gradual erosion of the bond you once shared, and you're left grasping at something that is slowly slipping through your fingers. You may try to reach out, to rekindle the connection, but their lack of response can feel like a silent, cold rejection. You're left in a space where you question whether you have done something wrong or if their feelings toward you have simply faded away over time. That lingering uncertainty can gnaw at you, leaving you feeling abandoned without ever fully understanding why. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The emotional toll of neglect is profound because it's not just about feeling neglected in the moment. It's the long-term impact it has on your self-worth. It forces you to confront the painful thought that, perhaps, you weren't important enough to keep in their life, that your needs and emotions were not valued. It doesn't matter how much you tried to give, how many times you reached out. What matters is that the person who once meant the world to you has silently chosen to stop reciprocating. And in this silence, in this emotional absence, you are left to face the unbearable truth that you have been quietly, unceremoniously forgotten. It's a devastating realization that leaves you questioning the authenticity of the love or friendship you once believed was unwavering. Neglect, in its quiet form, is a deep wound to the soul, one that echoes in the heart long after the silence has settled in. 7. Envy. Envy is a toxic and destructive force that can quietly, but powerfully, erode the very foundations of trust and goodwill in our lives. It slinks through our minds like a silent poison, feeding on insecurities and desires for things we don't have, and it takes root in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes, it manifests through backhanded compliments, those thinly veiled remarks that are meant to sound nice but leave a sting behind. Other times, it reveals itself in subtle digs, small, calculated jabs designed to undermine and diminish the person on the receiving end. But the worst form of envy isn't always so obvious. It often shows itself in passive-aggressive behaviors that leave others questioning the intentions of someone they once trusted. In its most extreme form, envy can become downright dangerous. It can push people to sabotage others or even try to destroy the achievements of those they should be supporting. This kind of betrayal is not only deeply hurtful, but it's also insidious. It poisons relationships and can slowly tear apart entire social circles, families, and even the closest of friendships. I've seen how envy can twist the intentions of people who once appeared kind-hearted, turning them into rivals or enemies in disguise. The betrayal that comes with envy cuts deep, leaving scars that aren't always visible but are felt profoundly. It's heartbreaking because the ones who hurt the most are often the ones who never saw it coming. I believe that the worst part of envy is that it doesn't just damage the person on the receiving end, but also the one who harbors it. It keeps them trapped in a cycle of resentment and jealousy, robbing them of peace and happiness. It's a bitter emotion that feeds on comparison and leaves no room for contentment. When we let envy take root in our hearts, we not only damage the people around us but also steal our joy. True strength lies in rising above envy, in learning to appreciate the success of others without feeling threatened or diminished by it. We must choose to let go of envy, to focus on our growth, and to celebrate others without reservation. Only then can we find true peace and authenticity in our relationships. As we come to the end of today's discussion, I hope you've gained a deeper understanding of just how dangerous and destructive envy can be in our lives. It's a feeling that not only harms others but also steals our peace and joy. But remember, the power to break free from envy lies within us. We can choose to rise above it, to support and celebrate others, and to live with authenticity and inner peace. Now, I want to hear from you. What has resonated with you the most from today's video? What's one thing you've learned that you'll bring into your life moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you plan to put these insights into practice. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.